The inspiration for starting Tokki was that I was looking around my living room after a exciting, very family-filled Christmas with all the nieces and nephews, and we had so much garbage at the end of the day. So I looked up what all of the wrapping paper and bags could be recycled, and I was really shocked to find out that almost all of it was not recyclable. All of these, bags and bags of trash had to be thrown into the landfill, which kind of broke my heart. So the idea for Tokki came to me because my grandmother used to wrap our very important gifts in these squares of silk. And so the whole idea of reusable gift wrap was something that was near and dear to my heart. And we updated the whole idea with a QR card because I knew that for it to live in the American space, it needed to have a little bit more fun and pizzazz. And what I really am inspired to do is to make reuse fun, right? You don't have to hide the fact that you're reusing this gift bag. Like, reuse is delightful because it connects us in this chain. Everything that I do is inspired by what I've seen my parents survive and how they have built this flourishing life. I can't imagine being in my 20s and moving to a country where I don't speak the language and starting from scratch. But you know what? That's probably one of the easiest things my dad had to do because he was orphaned when he was just 9 years old. And so he raised himself, he said, that winter. So it's freezing cold winters and scorching humid summers. And so he dug up leftover sweet potato from a local farm field. So when you farm, especially back in those days, there's lots of things that sort of get left behind because you can't get every single piece of crop. And that's how he survived. So he just built a whole life for himself out of scratch, really out of nothing. And there's nothing that I will do that will ever be as hard as what both of my parents have experienced. And it's just, you can see the trajectory of what a better and better life is. When we moved to Canada, I didn't speak the language. And from there, we moved, I think, more than 10 times in my childhood. And each time to a slightly better apartment. Finally, they were able to buy their own house. And when you experience that, when you see that this is better and this is better, and you see how hard they work to make that happen, it is a lesson that it's impossible to just read in a book and internalize. I think I just knew it with every cell in my body that things are possible when the hard work and some luck and some effort from friends and family around you, when things come together. When I was working as a young lawyer, and this was really on me, I went straight from undergraduate to law school, and I hadn't ever had a real job. I hadn't even been inside an office building to know what that looked like and felt like. And so I had my Ann Taylor suit, and I showed up, and I didn't talk to anybody. My review said that I was competent but mousy because I didn't know how to let my sense of humor out. And it's amazing that with 2 Ivy League degrees like that, I would still feel so trapped when I realized, wait, you can quit. I mean, I wanted to get a t-shirt that said, I'm a quitter. It was so fun. Leaving something that is not right for you is such an exhilarating experience. And I think it made every transition I did after that a little bit easier. Well, for me, the hardest thing about building a company has been the financing. It's crazy when people say, quantified, that only 2% of venture capital money goes to women-run companies. It's basically the equivalent of zero, right? That rounds to zero. If you have a 2% shot, that's like a lottery. That is not a real chance. I like to say that to people, not to be discouraging, but when you are getting the rejections, to know that, hey, you're part of the 98%. And it doesn't have to do with you. It has to do with very slow changing systems. I think the most badass thing that women can do is to see all of these things and to try and keep going anyway. I don't have a silver bullet answer. I know that there's a part of it that is about working harder to get through more rejections and to finally find the yeses in whatever format you can, and to not worry about whether you raise money through angel or crowdfunding or took out a loan or maxed out your credit card. There are a lot of different ways to fund a company, and the only thing that really kills a company is running out of money. Start somewhere the best you can. And it might not be the perfect answer. So for example, at Tokki, we started off with these beautiful organic cotton wraps that we made, thinking that this is more environmentally friendly, this is going to last forever. Well, I was surprised to find out that the carbon footprint of cotton is actually, it was sort of 20 to 50 times worse than making something out of recycled water bottles. And there's no perfect solution, right? There are a lot of people who do feel that way and feel like recycled plastic is just contributing to the idea that we can use plastic. So you could be paralyzed by that, right? Like, oh, this solution isn't perfect and this solution isn't perfect. But when we switched over to these bags, I did a blog post on Tokki explaining why and what we didn't know and what we're learning. And material science is not my background, but I'm going to learn more, and we're going to every year do better. And that's the whole mentality to have around having a startup, whether it's poetry or life or entrepreneurship. It's all the same. Just do the best you can. Resilience is the ability to, it's not just taking what on the chin. It's really about taking hard things that happen and incorporating it into your body of work, into your psyche. And it's about making it help you become stronger. You can't just focus on the successes. I think that actually leads to feeling debilitated and feeling like everybody else is more successful and why isn't the success happening fast enough? If you think to yourself, I need X number of dollars in investment, every day you're not getting it feels terrible. But if you say to yourself, hey, I need to collect 25 no's, then it's all about that. And when you have somebody say no, it's expected. It's still heartbreaking. I mean, I'm not going to lie. When you go and pitch your company, your baby to an investor and they say, I don't think it's going to work, or I don't really think I can believe in you, it hurts. There's nothing that takes that away. But what makes it possible for me to keep going and to go on is to know that that's expected. One of my favorite gifts to give is my friend's book, Gravitas. It is so amazing. As entrepreneurs, we both call each other maybe at least once or twice a day. And it's great to have somebody who can be your shame buddy. The whole idea of trying something new is so hard, and you're failing at so much every day. As an entrepreneur, you're making 100 mistakes a day because you've never signed a commercial lease before, you've never done a construction build out, you have never incorporated, you've never ordered product from China, you've never designed something and gotten it patented. Everything is completely new. And so it's really important to have somebody you can say that to. One of the favorite titles I like to give friends is a shame buddy. I think it's important for everybody to have a shame buddy, the person you could call and say, I feel really dumb because this happened. Hardship in the darkness just becomes debilitating shame, but mistake, when you connect with somebody over it, that's how you can turn it into a lesson. So this is recycled water bottles looking so cute. And there is instructions on the bottom, but you start by just taking out your phone and scanning this QR card. We call it the ever greeting card, just like a menu. It's super easy. And as soon as you do that, your card pops up on your phone.